not just a case. You're not just a client. You're a person, and you deserve support. You deserve simplicity. You deserve communication. When you hire an attorney, you deserve clear, risk-free advice that guides you to the best possible outcome in your injury case. And that's exactly what the advocates have been providing for over 30 years. After your accident, you deserve closure. You deserve compassion. You deserve peace of mind. You deserve an advocate.
This is The Monty Show, the truth in sports talk streaming. When you want unbiased opinions about your favorite team without the spin, all you have to do is find The Monty Show, streaming live and available 24 hours a day, 7 days a week on YouTube. And now, here's Monty.
Hey, The Monty Show, live on June the 4th, be with you. As always, we are that didn't really work, did it? No, but you know what I meant. May the 4th be with you. As always, we are presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. The best injury attorneys in the business, 24/7, 365 at theadvocates.com. And again, I tell you, it is the 100 deadliest days on the roads in this country. Summer essentially is upon us. Kids are out of school or getting out of school. They're on their bikes, their scooters, their skateboards. They're out in the yard playing wiffle ball or in the driveway playing hoops. Things happen fast, so you got to slow down. You got to eliminate the distractions. No cell phones while you're driving. Focus. And if the worst happens, get the best at the Advocates, where you never reach into your pocket to pay the Advocates. In fact, you don't pay the Advocates unless and until they win your case. So hook it up at theadvocates.com. Interesting haps up on the Hill yesterday. And I'm trying to figure out why is the word Super League or the phrase Super League so taboo these days? Because I feel like we've spent the better part of 3 years now talking about this. And I think without question, the burnout factor that is going on with the college football playoff and the governance of college football, people are burned out on it. I'm burned out on it. I'm tired of talking about it. I'd rather be leading with the Knicks, frankly. But the hard part is this is what everybody's talking about. And as tired of talking about it as I am, I think it's compelling that yes, not only am I good looking, but I'm right again, because now everybody's talking about a Super League. Notice that we've stopped with this nonsense of 80 teams. And I think we are looking at what I've been telling you for 3 years, an NFL model. And I think yesterday we got a lot closer to that, because now we're testifying in front of Congress about a Super League. Now we're testifying in front of Congress about the fact that, yeah, we have a lot of money and a lot of people don't have a lot of money. So those of us that are rich want to get richer and leave the poor guys behind. Because that's essentially the conversation that was had for this Cruz-Cantwell meaningless POS legislation that isn't worth the paper it's printed on, because it doesn't hold the SEC and the Big Ten accountable. So I think we are finally now openly and honestly talking about a Super League, and I think we're well past it. The point of return now, because you listen to what the single greatest athletic director in the history of our country and God's athletic director has to say. I mean, a Super League certainly sounds like something he's talked a lot about.
My second concern is, if you want to truly maximize the media value around the largest sport in terms of eyeballs, which is college football, I do think the best way to do that is a Super League. And I certainly don't want a Super League. I'm not sure anybody necessarily wants a Super League. Flooding the market, aggregating the market, bringing it to an aggregate form to major media companies, I'm not sure that's going to drive the value some say it will. If you wanted to maximize media value around college football, I think you would take 24 to 30 teams, create unbelievably competitive scheduling where a team like Notre Dame would play Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and start to get a number that more closely resembles an NFL number. I could be right, I could be wrong, but that's why I was encouraged that it's a voluntary application and that a lot more work could be done over the course of the next series of years to see if the value could prove itself out.
That's called a super league. And you don't have to like it. You don't have to agree with it, but that's what we're talking about. He straight up said there what I've been saying for 3 years, an NFL model, and not everybody participates. I just don't think it's that tough to figure out. And that's Pete Bavacqua, by the way, the athletic director at Notre Dame. Bavacqua. And you just can't understand that drop, dude. Like, the point is, I think he's exactly right. I think he is exactly right. A super league is where we are headed, and I don't think we should be delaying anymore.
Yeah, I mean, I think that there's anxiety around a super league, though. I think that people don't want, people don't want college football to move in a certain direction. We're all scared of the money and an NFL minor league model, and money dominating the conversation. But at the same time, on the other side of the coin, we all want to sit here and complain that money's dominating the conversation, and that it's just a terrible thing. And so there's this hypocrisy that goes on where you've got people in college football for the last 10 years who have been paying players legally or illegally, depending on what the set of rules says at any given time, who are now testifying in front of Congress that, they don't want, a super league, but if you wanted to drive TV ratings, then maybe a super league is what we need. And that was, like, we are right. We have been talking about this for years, and I do think it is necessary to, Super League is necessary to find the balance in college football to appease both the big guys that make all the money and have $40 million rosters and compete at that level, while also allowing the smaller schools to do what they do. So we need some sort of balance, some sort of equilibrium here, and the Super League can help accomplish that. But I just think it's interesting now we're at a point where we're sitting in front of Congress testifying about what college football needs. And, I just think it's interesting that it came to this. Like, we couldn't get into a meeting and just figure this out. We got to get the government involved, and we got to get this, I agree, meaningless piece of legislation. That's the catalyst for getting everyone to talk, which is really
I don't think it's a catalyst. I think what happened here is finally we're at a breaking point. We're at a breaking point now. I think public sentiment is against college football. I think Ted Cruz doesn't know anything about college athletics. Senator Cantwell doesn't know anything about college athletics. Or Congresswoman Cantwell knows nothing about college athletics. They know what they're hearing. Senator, this should not be a legislated thing. But what's happening is, I think everybody recognizes the Cruz-Cantwell bill is not worth the paper it's printed on. And so you have to have a way to fix that. So you have this hearing. You hear from these supposedly influential voices, influential or not. Again, no college athlete was in the room. Not one college athlete testified yesterday. But what did we get? We got a bunch of old dudes. Pete Bavacqua's middle-aged, but whatever. We got a bunch of old dudes talking about how broken college football is. Right? You listen to Nick Saban, and I like Nick Saban a lot, but he is an old dog barking at the wind, in my opinion.
Let me give you the history. My first year we had collective at Alabama, 2.7 million. Next year, 7 million. Next year, 10 million. I retired. Next year, 17 million. Next year, 24 million. Now you have schools that have close to $40 million rosters. So if we continue to do that, we're going to lose Olympic sports. We're going to lose non-revenue sports. We're going to lose scholarships. And basically what's going to happen is you're going to have football and basketball succeed, and we'll have club sports for everything else.
And I totally disagree. You are unbelievably rich beyond anybody's wildest dream because of college football. And you're trying to figure out ways to pay players less money. And I love that these dudes will all be like, oh, we have big problems. We have big problems. But I want to pay the players deserve the money. Like, because that's what you do. Let's pay them less. But they deserve all the money in the world. But let's pay them less. Because you don't want to say the quiet part out loud. You don't want to pay players because that would mean you make less. That's essentially what Nick Saban said there. We can't continue to pay players. Then why don't you collectively bargain with them? Why not one time did we hear about collective bargaining yesterday? Why not one time did we not hear from a college athlete? Because they don't want to hear from college athletes. They don't want a system in place that actually solves problems. They want a system in place that keeps them rich. And I think when you start looking at the fact that we need the best players in college football talking about this, right? We need it to be a situation where we don't get, and I want to be careful with this because I think when you look at, and I am certain that my friends in Utah will hate me saying this. When you look at Lance Holtzclaw yesterday, nobody knows who you are. Nobody knows where you are. Where's Arch Manning? Arguably the most recognizable college football player on the planet. Where is any of the best talent in college? With all due respect, Lance Holtzclaw represented himself very well. And if you don't know who that is, he plays football at Utah. He showed up wearing what was inarguably one of the nicest suits I think most college football players have ever seen. He represented himself. In fact, Marcus and I were joking about the fact that, I mean, he was more diplomatic than most of the diplomats in that room. But to Marcus's point, not to speak for him, but Marcus essentially said nobody heard him testify because nobody knows who he is. And again, if Arch Manning is sitting in that room, do we see the video of it everywhere? Do we see the pictures of it everywhere? Do we?
I mean, there's certainly a better chance. Yeah. I mean, it's Arch
better
Manning,
chance.
it's Texas. Like, yeah.
We would have absolutely seen more of it. And yet we just didn't get, we just got nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't think that they care to hear from the players. That's the problem. Is that it's this situation where, you know, you like Nick Saban. I love Nick Saban just as much as anyone else, man. But he might be the best example of the hypocrisy that's alive and well as far as the players are concerned. I mean, you're talking about who, you know, someone who most people regard as the best college football coach to ever do it. You know, sitting there saying that in, what did he say, in 2007, his first season at Bama, they were paying players $2.7 million. And I feel like it was lost on a lot of people that this guy just said that they were paying players before paying players was even like a thing or like acceptable, right? So they've been paying players for a long ass time. And I think it's funny that Nick Saban is sitting here, you know, talking about how, you know, players need to be compensated more, but at the same time, like, we got to, you know, if we keep doing that, like all the other sports are going to turn into club sports. And I couldn't agree more with the sentiment that it's like, you guys have billions of dollars. You guys have all this money. And all you got to do is find a way to properly compensate the player. And we wouldn't be having this conversation. Because once those players are compensated, everything else kind of takes care of itself because you know they're still going to go out there and perform. You're still going to get all your money from TV deals and sponsorships and ticket sales and beer sales and everything else that the school benefits from in the 80s and in the leadership room benefits from. So I just think, as usual in college football, it's really interesting that leadership is going about this the way they are when I feel like there is a reasonable path for them to work together to figure this out. Because the one thing we've always said on the show is once the federal government's involved, once you get legislation, once the Ted Cruzes of the world are involved, you're in a really tough spot, man. Like what okay, you're working with them to get this legislation to come down. Once that legislation comes down, you better like what's in that bill, man. You better like what's on the document, because you're gonna have to follow it. And I think some of these guys just assume because they testified that everything they testified about is just going to get popped into this bill. And that's not true. You're sitting there as a retired college football coach giving them your opinion. Your opinion is not law. Your opinion, it doesn't even have to be put into the bill. That's what I think is so funny about it, is that all these people, it's like Teresa Gould sitting up there or anybody else, Bavacqua, I don't care who it is. You guys are all sitting here saying that's doom and gloom in college football. What are you going to be saying when the bill finally does pass and it does come down? Because I guarantee you there's going to be criticism of this thing one way or the other.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting to see exactly how all this plays out and what it ends up looking like. But I don't think there's any question a Super League's coming. I think, just talking to people around college football, I don't think there's any question that it cannot be more than, I think 30, 32. You just don't have 50, 60, 70, 80 universities who are willing to pay to play, because it's $1 billion operation. It's $1 billion operation. And you can talk about the biggest universities, the Ohio States, the Michigans, the Notre Dames. But you go look at this Big 12 question. And I ask you, is there a single university in the Big 12 that has $1 billion a year to spend on college football? How many of them are spending the requisite amount of money right now? 2? Might be 2. Because Texas Tech's not spending money. Cody Campbell is. So, and maybe that's the model we're operating in. But how many universities have $1 billion to put into winning college football games annually?
Yeah. And even if they did, how many are willing to actually spend the money? Because that's the thing. It's optional, right? And everyone's like, oh, well, it's great that it's optional. I'm so glad that we're not forcing people to compete at such a level. But you understand, with it being optional, you're essentially saying, okay, well, obviously probably 80%, 70% of the SEC would opt in. If you just look at the teams and what they're trying to do, most of the teams in the SEC would opt in. You have probably 7 schools in the Big Ten that would opt in. All the usual suspects: Oregon, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, USC. I would think Washington. And there's probably a few other stragglers that will come along. Okay.
I would agree.
Okay. You've got some of those. And then the question that I think is really a dangerous question for college football overall is, what of the ACC and the Big 12? All right. Well, Miami's in. Okay, cool. Would Florida State be in? Well, yeah, I would think so. I would think so, but it's not as though under Mike Norvell they've been super competitive, and their willingness to buy out Mike Norvell's contract is not high. So they've been pretty mediocre since the Jordan Travis injury. You didn't get into the CFP. You've been a really mediocre ass football team in what amounts to a really mediocre ass conference. So then you go over to the Big 12 and you're like, well, Texas Tech loves to tell us how tough they are, and Texas Tech wants you to think that there's some juggernaut and they're incredible and they would be competitive against the Big 10 and the SEC. But the truth is they're not. They're not competitive against the Big 10 and the SEC. Nobody's scared of Texas Tech, and Texas Tech hasn't shown an ability to beat teams that would without a doubt be in the Super League.
Texas Tech has won nothing.
Right.
Texas Tech has accomplished nothing. And I feel like Texas Tech, I hope Texas Tech does win the whole damn thing this year, because I just get worn out every day hearing from Tech fan how great we are. We're the best. We're awesome. You haven't won shit. You literally haven't won anything of consequence. You've won nothing. And all Texas Tech guy wants to do is flap their gums. You've won nothing. So the idea that somehow Texas Tech is the level setter in the Big 12, no, you're not. You've won nothing. Man, like, you need to win at the highest. You need to win a champion. At the point and the level that Texas Tech talks, you need to win the whole damn thing. Winning a college football playoff game is neat. But what does that really represent? Nothing. Winning a national championship in college basketball represents something. You're literally hanging your reputation on college softball. That's your best sport right now. And I believe that's inarguable. You can't argue that. What sport have they been more successful in than college softball?
Yeah, they haven't. I agree with that completely.
They haven't. I'm telling you now, and God rest his soul, because I'm sure he's on another hiatus. But this is what I always tell Oak State James when he gets upset about, his beloved Oklahoma State and Mike Gundy, or Baylor, or TCU, or Iowa State, or K-State, or Kansas, or now Utah, the dregs of this league who refuse to spend the money and do what's required to win games. So you end up with DJ Lagway as your quarterback. You end up with Matt Campbell working for the Epsteins at Penn State. Yet, did Kalani Sitake get away from BYU? He didn't. The level setter in this league is BYU. And I think I know that BYU has $1 billion a year to spend on football. Are they willing to? I don't know.
I don't think anybody knows.
Is the University of Utah willing to spend $1 billion on college football every year? How many teams in this league, in the Big 12, are willing to spend $1 billion? Because that's what it's going to take between player compensation, facilities. I mean, you name it. Weight rooms, underwear, jock straps, protein bars, insurance, humans, chartered travel. Are you willing to spend $1 billion? And I'm going to tell you, I think the answer is no for 99% of the Big 12. 99% of the Big 12.
Yeah. So anybody out here saying that it needs to be an 80-team model, at that point you're pushing a model that is not optional. You're pushing a model that says, hey, the entire P4 is going to be in it, whether they like it or not, and that's just what it is. And I just don't think that that's where we are. And I think that this conversation around the Big 12 being left out of a potential college football super league, I'm not sure that's Armageddon for the Big 12. Like, I'm not sure. I don't feel confident that if you weren't in the Super League, that all of a sudden, your conference is going to melt down and there's just no way forward. And this is kind of what my point was about the G6 having their own playoff, right? I mean, we've been saying for 2 years on the show that the G6 at some point is going to have to, stop, living off the coattails of the P4 and create their own thing. And this Super League pushes that same kind of concept of, hey, if you're not going to be in the Super League and you don't want to compete at that level, that's totally fine. But there is going to need to be another, league of sorts, another opportunity for those schools that don't want to spend $1 billion a year or spend, whatever the number winds up being. A lot of money on college football, man. And they don't want to operate at that level, because what I know about college football is just because you're not trying to win a national championship doesn't mean that college football in your local town sucks or can't be enjoyable. But what we can't have is schools like Texas Tech or anyone else say that they're the best and we're amazing. And, we've got Cody Campbell and oil money and everything. We've got Ryan Smith and we've got crumble cookies. And you guys are barely getting into the CFP, man. And when you do get into the CFP, you get bounced and shut out. And that's why I'm saying it's just a terrible look. And that's why the 80-team format doesn't work. That's why it should only be a 25 to 35 team format, because that's about all we have in college football who would willingly opt in. And I actually think 35 is really pushing it. If you really look at it, I think we're talking more about like 20 to 25 at most. Honestly, if you go around college football and you look at it.
Yeah, I think you are. I don't know. I think 32 is the number. I think they will closely match. It will almost be identical to the NFL playoff model.
Mm-hmm.
I think you will have conferences, divisions, because the other thing here very clearly is you can no longer have humans deciding who's in the playoffs. Those days are coming to an end, right? All right. Are you in favor of a super league? And let's go with, because I think the conversation has dramatically shifted away from, 70, 80 teams. That's not happening. That's not happening because the money just does not exist. With the decimation of federal funding to universities, and as expensive as education has become for students, so our enrollments are down. Like you don't have. I don't think you have 50 teams. Honestly, I don't think you have 50 universities willing to pay the money to compete. I don't. In the comment section, after you hit the like button, are you in favor of a super league? First one in today is Real Pete Forte, who's been a member for 30 months. I can't see having it more than 40. Pete, totally agree. I think it's 32. But that's just me. Yes. Now be positive and hit the like button. Yes. Matt Ritson, hello. Dana Marie, hello. Are you a Padre fan now? Okay. Jay McClanahan, morning, guys. Morning. Lopes fan Gabe, hit the like button. Yes. Yes. Boomer Sooner, yes. Frog Father, yes. Let's all hope Jakey Two Shakes' power didn't get eaten up by more animals. Lazy ass got out of bed today.
Yeah.
Good to see you. Andrew Fink says, good morning. Morning. Payson Cougar fan, hello. Some of the teams in both the big SEC, ACC, and Big 12 will be left out. Certainly. I think if you look again, here's the question I have. Is Rutgers willing to pay $1 billion a year to play college football?
And I think we shouldn't be verbalizing as they'll be left out. They will opt out. They will choose to not participate. Saying that they're left out is like, oh, well, man, you're Rutgers, you suck, so we don't want you. Like, this isn't conference realignment or expansion, man.
Well, I would say Rutgers, you suck, we don't want. That's my feeling on it.
Yeah, I mean, they're ass, but even if, again, this is not a conversation about how much you win and lose on the field as far as participating. This is what does your checkbook say? So if Rutgers wants to cough it up, great. They can be in it. They can be a number for someone, just like they've been in the Big Ten for the last 20 years. That's not a problem. But that's what I'm saying. Like, anybody out here pushing these huge numbers of participation in this thing, you're out of your damn mind, man. That's just not. You're not getting 60 teams, bro. That's not happening.
Yeah, I agree. Jeremiah Champion, Marnin. Hey, Jake is back. Marnin.
Sometimes.
Lopes fan Gabe, of course it's clickbait. That's how content creation and engagement works. And was somebody complaining about clickbaiting? Mike Smith, Notre Dame does not want to join a conference. They value being indie. Well, they can stay indie and not join a super league. But why would you have a super league without Notre Dame?
And I don't think Notre Dame's ever said they're unwilling to join a super conference. See, that's Mike. You're being a red ass, and I can appreciate that. But a super conference is different than what we currently call a conference, right? Like we're sitting here saying, hey, this is a brand new entity outside of the current system being created, and there's a reason Bavak was sitting there next to Saban testifying, because Notre Dame will be involved. There's no question about it.
I would agree.
My second concern is if you want to truly maximize the media value around the largest sport in terms of eyeballs, which is college football, I do think the best way to do that is a super league. And I certainly don't want a super league. I'm not sure anybody necessarily wants a super league. Flooding the market, aggregating the market, bringing it to an aggregate form to major media companies, I'm not sure that's going to drive the value some say it will. If you wanted to maximize media value around college football, I think you would take 24 to 30 teams, create unbelievably competitive scheduling where a team like Notre Dame would play Alabama, Georgia, Penn State, Ohio State, Michigan, and start to get a number that more closely resembles an NFL number. I could be right, I could be wrong, but that's why I was encouraged that it's a voluntary application and that a lot more work could be done over the course of the next series of years to see if the value could prove itself out.
It's not rocket science, man. It's coming in. You guys know who Dave Checketts is? Hedge fund gazillionaire, used to own RSL. Sat down with Front Office Sports. What does Dave think of a super conference?
It's one thing to do what the University of Utah has done, kind of sell off their sports program because they want a better stadium and they want a basketball building and they want it right now. So they've kind of sold off their future. That's different than the kind of investments we're talking about, where, college sports. If it's possible to make a big change, like I've said, this whole idea, which has been floated many times, of a super conference with divisions and relegation, I think is a sensational idea.
Wow.
I'd be really, really interested if that's the road they go down. I have no reason to believe they'll go there, but I prefer that rather than letting the NILs and everything else turn it into just a minor league.
I mean, he's saying everything that I'm saying. Like, and on top of that, you know what else Dave Checketts told Front Office Sports?
Let's have them sign up to get paid and have them agree to go to class. Imagine you're going to go to class, you're going to pass your classes. I mean, if you stand for education, it's one thing if you stand for sports, but let's be honest about it. I think there's a way, if you're bringing money in, and they have in a big way, if you're letting money in through NILs and letting players get paid, then for heaven's sakes, let's get a collective bargaining agreement that means they're not only going to practice hard and keep themselves in shape all year and all of the things you want from an athlete, but in addition, you're going to class.
I don't know that, that sounds strangely familiar. I mean, I feel like I've heard that before on some show, but I just can't quite place it. I mean, is that not exactly what we said here? Like,
and I listen, you guys, I don't have to tell you I'm good looking. Your wife tells you that I'm good looking. I don't have to tell you I'm smart because, well, you just know it. But when you're, oh yes, here we go. When you're right as rain,
Yeah. Yep. A two-holesism.
You literally rolled in here one day and dropped a right as rain and we're like, what? It's just what I said.
Yeah, I said what I said, dude. What's the problem?
Pothole. Anyway, my point is collective bargaining is the way you have to go. And I do believe that CBA is the way. That's correct. I would agree with that. Boomer Sooner. Would the Big be open to all that level of competition on a consistent basis? Big on an SEC style schedule? I don't know about that. I think you don't. I think everybody plays the exact same schedule at that point.
Yeah, I just think that the mindset there, Boomer Sooner, is incorrect. I think the mindset is we're leaving behind the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and the Big 12. We're leaving behind those narratives in football. And we're saying, hey, we're going to get the biggest, the most influential, and the most successful college football programs, and we're going to pool them together, And through that process, we're going to create an NFL minor league model that allows us to go to TV partners and say, hey, we're leaving the CFP model behind. We're looking to mimic what the NFL does with ESPN and Fox and CBS and if NBC wants a piece, great. We're looking to pool the media rights in a way, and then from there we can create a reasonable schedule. We can say, okay, cool, we've got 15 games a week or 17 games a week or whatever it is, and we're going to divvy those up between all the different TV partners, and now we're off and running. And I think the piece that hasn't really been tapped yet is if college football can figure this out, and again, this is what we've been telling you for how long, but if college football can figure this out, then we've got a dynamic at play where we're bringing these two closer together. College football and the NFL working more closely together to parlay viewership momentum. Hey, we've got 17 games on Saturday with college football, and those are high profile, just like greatest 10-game run guy ever, Bavacqua, said. Hey, Ohio State and Texas or whoever it's going to be. Huge games on Saturday that are then going to parlay into huge games on Sunday and Monday. And I do think if you're the NFL, you're looking at this and you're saying, okay, great. Like college football is gaining and getting traction. And I think the concerns that Jason Kelce brought up 2 weeks ago or last week, whenever that was, on his podcast about how the NFL needs to stop playing on like 7 different days a week and they need to get back to doing Sunday and Monday night football. If you think about it, you've got college football dominating on Saturday, doing their whole thing. And we have huge interest in that, as we always have. And then that momentum goes into Sunday and into Monday. And then you're off and running again. So I just think there is a way for this to be simpler, but it's unfortunate, in my opinion, that it's taking congressional involvement to get it done. It's really not great.
No, I would agree. But yeah, oh, look, he's back.
There you go.
He's back. The Oklahoma State fan is in the room. What I like is having teams play other teams that are in the same region. UCF and West Virginia should not be in the Big 12. They should be in the ACC. Okay. I think a Super League solves that problem. Amy S., if it does not pass, there will be ongoing government influence and control. Careful what you wish for. Seriously.
I could not agree more with that. I think it's dangerous to have the government involved.
Matt Muldoon. What a dick. Anyway, honest question. As an alumni of Rutgers.
Sorry, dude.
Brain guy.
Tough choice in life, huh?
Rutgers is a great institution of lower learning.
Did you just call Buddy stupid for going to Rutgers?
Rutgers is actually a very good institution. Rutgers, who has no chance of aligning with the big boys. Where do Purdue, Rutgers, Iowa State, and the other caliber schools go? They don't go anywhere. They stay where they are. They stay where they are. There will be a second tier. Everybody romanticizes and forearm strengthens over relegation. What does that look like? Promotion, demotion? I don't know. But I could certainly see that being part of it, I guess. Matt, in the model I saw, Rutgers would be part of it. In no way, shape, or form is Rutgers in a position to pay $1 billion a year to play college football. That's not happening. My ass Rutgers gets included exactly. Quote the model. Well, James is talking about the very first incarnations of Super League speculation, where you're talking about 60 to 80 teams. That's just not tenable anymore. The college funding model has completely tanked. And universities are trying to figure out how to pay the light bill, let alone the college football bill.
Right.
And it is like, if you follow, I get a lot of newsletters. I read a select few, but I probably get 100 a week. And if you don't subscribe to newsletters, I think you're kind of missing out, because newsletters, I'm telling you, newsletters are fantastic. Here nor there. one of the newsletters I get is on the state of education in our country. Do you understand that we are running out of high-level professors, educators who come from places like think tanks, institutions, where you're not thinking about A plus B equals your mom, right? Like your Pythagorean theorem in the isosceles triangles and stuff, right? Like the big thinkers, the big brain guys, we're running out of those dudes. We're not creating them in this country anymore. Universities are having trouble finding that guy or that gal. So there is an incredible arms race and an incredible competition financially to get these top level educators. And there simply is not enough of them to go around. So it's gotten increasingly expensive to have top level educators. So the top level educator is now just freelancing. I'm going to do a semester at Rutgers. I'm going to do a semester at USC. And so they're not on staff anymore. It's a really interesting trend, I'm telling you. Who's your Dave? You mean who's your daddy? Or is that different? You win nothing, you lose nothing. Good day, sir.
Something like that.
Yes. Yes. What was Gene Wilder? What a character. I said, good day, sir. Exactly. James, the model you saw, what was the source of that model? Okay. I said that Mike Gundy needed to go and they fought. You just stop.
Bro, dude.
Stop it.
Bro.
Stop it.
Come on. Come on. You defended Buddy for a long ass time, bro.
Remember Run Stairs, Ollie Gordon, Preston Stone's cock? Remember that? Like,
yeah.
We all remember. Teams not serious in putting in the effort to win will get left out of the Super League. 100%, Maury. That's exactly right. I say it on a regular basis, and guys like James get pissed or whatever. You know who's trying to win every rep of athletics. It's not Iowa State. It's not TCU. It's not Baylor. It's not Oklahoma State. Like, I mean, you can go up and down the list. Is it West Virginia? I don't think it is. They don't have the money to compete. West Virginia has no business being in $1 billion football game. No business whatsoever. As painful as that is for Mountaineer fans, you simply have no business competing at that level. Neither Iowa State, neither Iowa, neither Minnesota, neither Purdue. I mean, you go up and down. Does Virginia, let alone West Virginia, Virginia Tech? Does Virginia Tech have $1 billion a year?
I think that they have been saving, and I think you wouldn't have hired James Franklin if he didn't. Honestly. But again, this first season will let us know, right? I mean, I think if Virginia Tech is not competitive in the ACC, if they're not a 7-8 win team in the ACC, then I think you've got problems.
Yeah, I think it is.
Like, I agree, Virginia Tech, generally speaking, hasn't been. Totally agree with that. But if you look at what they're doing, you hire James Franklin. You don't hire a guy like that unless you're genuinely like gonna invest in football. Like, what is the point of hiring? And frankly, why would James Franklin? And again, I'm not a James Franklin guy, but just him coming from Petter Ass U, why would you take the Virginia Tech job after your exit at Petter Ass U if they weren't going to invest? So I'm inclined to think that they'll invest, but again, proof is in the pudding.
$1 billion a year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Dude. Ryan Duffy, if $1 billion is the metric, you wipe out half the Big Ten. I don't disagree. How many SEC teams? The majority of them. because they're making a ton of money now, and they have a subpar TV deal.
I'm curious in the Super League, just as it is in the NFL or any professional league, you always have the top level spender, like the Dodgers as an example, and then you've got the lowest level spender,
Like the Cubs.
like the A's.
Sorry. Who beat the Cubs, who have lost 8 straight at Wrigley Field now.
Yeah, but Bregman was a great signing. Awesome. Good job, guys. I know he'll save the season.
Well, we don't have a pitcher who can not have his fucking arm fall off.
Maybe Bregman should learn how to hit something. Anyway, point is that okay, if top level spender's $1 billion in the Super League, does 700 mil get you by? 800 mil, does that get you by? Like, that's what I'm curious about is what
you're the Cleveland Browns.
I know. Well, that's my point. So if you're a school that is looking to get into that and, continue to grow your exposure, but maybe you're not trying to be at a bill, then what does that look like? Because I think that's definitely part of the conversation.
No, James, they won't. They won't. I think the thing that, with all due respect, not respect. With all due respect.
Yeah.
It's not about a lawsuit. The single biggest question, I think, what about future access? How do you expand or contract teams or universities, in this case, who no longer want to participate at that level?
You know what I'm going to say? It's relegation. That's why everyone wants to talk about it. There's got to be a relationship between the group of schools that initially aren't involved and what they're doing and what the kind of football they're playing and what they're competing at versus what you're doing in the Super League. And that's what I'm saying. It's going to be a 3-tier system, right? The G6 I guarantee you, the G6 is going to want to fight for their ability to get up to a certain level for 1 or 2 seasons at a time. Boise State is going to want to have the ability to say, okay, hey, if we win the G6, that puts us into the Power 4 pool. And if we can somehow figure that out, then we can jump again. There's going to be this 128 team, FBS, sliding scale. You're going to have the G6 level, the best of the rest in the group in the Power 4, and then the Super League. And I think if you can map that out, it works well. But I think you're playing kind of a dangerous game in terms of how much relegation is going to happen. Because again, everyone wants to look at the Premier League model. And I just think the difference between the Super League and the Premier League is obviously everyone in the Premier League, is trying not to get relegated. But I'm not confident that everyone that would initially be involved in the Super League would be trying to stay for ages and decades at a time, man.
Yeah, I think there are probably, I was thinking about this last night. I think there's legitimately 20 universities that could regularly compete at $1 billion a year. That's my guess. And which I have no problem with. I have no problem with it.
And when you say $1 billion a year, you're meaning just overall budget,
the expense that it will take to win a national championship between player compensation, facilities maintenance, human costs, travel costs, because I'm telling you, you're not going to fly commercial at that level. You're not going to do that. You're not going to stay at Motel 6 at that level.
Yeah, and $40 million for your roster is not going to get it done.
Because you're going to be making significantly more money. The Premier League model is utopic in college football because the cash influx you get the minute that you qualify to play in the Premier League, dude, it's winning the lottery. And that's what it's going to be akin to. Your games are not going to be on CBS Sports Network. You know what I'm saying?
No, you're getting on the big boy network.
Yeah. So, let's see. The model I saw was a division with all of the old Pac-10. Bro, get over the model I saw. Do you know how many years ago that was? Like, why are you so stuck on a model that is years old now? Nobody is talking about 80 teams in a Super League anymore.
Did the sideline reporter give you that information?
You just get so stuck in the past, you can't evolve your thinking. Nobody is talking about 80 teams anymore. There's not, that money does not exist at the university level. And you love to tell us how you're a student at that school that you're not a fan of. If you're a current student at a major university, you know funding is at a premium, right? The same logic can apply to universities too, though. Some students are just too intellectually big for universities, so they don't go. That was me. My brain could not shrink to the level of stupidity it would have required to go to college.
Can you measure it?
You know. Well, it is nice that the professors are getting paid. Lord knows that most teachers not in universities do not get paid what they should be paid. Truth. We undervalue educators and teachers in this country at a shocking level. So, rock and rant. The Spurs may get left out of the Super League. I think that's true. How about the Knicks last night?
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby. Hey, any more new videos from Buddy? Did you get a Big Daddy Magic video last night?
I did.
You did. Okay. Now, here's my question before we play it. What do you guys think the odds are that he's shirtless in this video? Because I think he's going to have clothing on because the Spurs lost. So he's going to be it's going to be a dark video. He's going to be under the influence, and he's going to be it's going to be sad.
He sent me a message at 4 a.m. this morning.
There you go.
How about you take the day off, come back Monday refreshed, and Victor have 2-1 lead over the New York Cockroaches?
So no video. Oh.
And Larry. Victor's better than all of them. You don't have those guys. We have somebody better. Players. This league does not have those personalities. Victor has a personality. Disgusting, embarrassing display that OKC put out in the last 2 years, I think is very, very bad. Very, very bad. It just is really brutal to me where the NBA is, because I have to find a reason to want to watch this NBA. Victor Wembanyama. And again, I'm going to tell you, the Stanley Cup final game one. Oh, shut up. Tremendous. Ooh, I like hockey better. Tiny whitey lover. 2-0, and I thought it was over. And then they immediately answered. And then I'm trying to pass my real estate exam. And so I'm studying back. Magic and Larry. Victor's better than all of them.
I'm going to say he's not. How'd that work out for you last night? How did Victor Wembanyama sucks work out for you last night?
How many bricks did Buddy put up last night in clutch time while Brunson was absolutely roasting you guys? Just saying.
I mean, listen, when you're the best player anybody's ever seen anywhere ever, and you shoot 6 of 21, you scored 12 points and 26 points, and 12 of them are from the free throw line.
Your ass, dude.
2 of 9 from 3 points, from 3-pointers. And what did I say last night? If they were going to win, he had to have 30 and 15. And he did not. He did not. And then Karl Anthony Towns, 18 points, 12 rebounds.
Karl Anthony zesty ass Towns got that ass.
And who did I tell you was an X factor in this series? OG Anunoby, 17 points, 3 of 6 from 3, 4 of 4 from the stripe, 3 boards, a steal, and a block. Just telling you, man. Go Knicks.
Play hard.
I am hard rooting for the Knicks.
It was incredible watching.
Literally and figuratively.
You guys realize you had a 13-point lead, right? You had a 13-point lead with 3 minutes left in the third, and you still found a way to lose.
You can't get beat. You can't get beat by 10 points in the fourth quarter in the NBA Finals. Well, I mean, you can. You're going to lose. But you can't get beat by 10 points in the NBA Finals and expect to win.
Nope.
You just can't. If only Jalen Brunson was taller, the Knicks might have won last night, I was told. That's exactly right. He's too short. And now his knee hurts, so they lost. Oh, wait. I don't think they are Knicks fans as much as they are anti-Victor Spurs. I'm an NBA fan, and I miss the NBA being good.
Yeah, and it's nice to have a big market team in the NBA Finals. I'm sick and tired of OKC versus Indiana. Like, what kind of ass matchup is that, dude? Like, I'm ready for Boston, LA, New York, and whoever. Like, like I've been waiting for this, dude. Like, come on.
The Monty Show are Knicks fans. Are we watching Stephen B. Smith or Stephen C. Smith? No. What I'm telling you is, I grew up in the Jordan, Scottie Pippen putting his balls on Patrick Ewing's chin. I grew up in that era. But Patrick Ewing was one of my favorite players as a kid. There's no question about it. I used to dunk like Patrick Ewing. I used to like all of it. Loved every minute of it. So when the Knicks are good, the NBA is good for it.
Yeah.
But make no mistake about it. If the Lakers and the Knicks were playing, I'd be rooting for the Lakers.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a Laker fan.
Did you see the speculation yesterday that the Warriors are already starting to pony up an offer for LeBag, and that's where they're going to aggressively pursue LeBron James?
I also saw LeBronto has an idea of making him an offer.
Well,
which he's not going to Toronto. Stop.
No, come on, be better.
But if you're Golden State, he's the perfect fit there.
Yeah,
he's a better version of Draymond Green.
Mm-hmm.
He shoots the three better. He rebounds better. It's not the defensive player Draymond is.
Better passer too.
He is a much better passer.
Yeah.
And now that Lanning is, in the building, I mean, we got to find a way to.
Speaking of $1 billion deals, 10 years, $1.3 billion, I believe it was. Nice little deal.
BDM is in shambles. Yeah. Timothy.
Yeah, you already know what it is, dude. Notice we're not getting fresh videos this morning from Buddy.
Timothy.
I mean, I feel bad for him, dude. His boy was absolutely building a brick wall last night in clutch time. Wasn't even really all that competitive. So
yeah, Victor didn't really show up last night.
Yeah.
Victor had a rough go last night. He'll bounce back. They'll win game 2, I would assume. Because if they don't win game 2, the series is over. God, what'll happen to BDM if the Spurs lose game 2?
Could be rough, dude. It could be really rough.
That could be rough. What I'm telling you is it could be more than rough. You could be looking at something where, rectally speaking, BDM is going to be in a very bad place.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't want anything to happen to Bro. I mean, I do want the Spurs to lose, but I don't, BDM is a valuable contributor to the program.
That's our guy.
Yeah. So, I mean, we don't want anything to happen, but it's just, to say that I'm rooting for the Knicks is probably not even saying it's strong enough. I'm rooting for the fall of the Spurs and the pushing of insane Knick fan outside of the Garden, just yelling and saying all the profane things they like to say after the Knicks win.
Yeah, I'm not rooting for Big Daddy Magic to be Big Daddy Tragic again, but I mean, it's rough, dude.
What's more entertaining? Knick fan yelling curse words and saying heinous things after they win games, or BDM sending Monty videos shirtless, high on weed, telling us that, the alien's the best player in the league?
Oh, for sure. It's Big Daddy Magic losing his rectum over the Spurs losing. The mass amount of damage he's going to do at Taco Bell today to get over this loss.
Everybody is outraged.
He hasn't sent me a Taco Bell video in a long time.
I mean, what's the over-under? Probably a 40-piece taco?
Oh my
honestly, to
God.
feel better. A 40-piece taco, a large Coke. Like, what do we, that I think that's the minimum.
I need a Taco Bell video. When's the last time? I'm trying to look at all his videos. So many nudes. Oh, here's one. What's this?
Hey, player, look where I'm at. My home away from home Taco Bell. Look at all this delicious food I have. I have a Diet Pepsi.
Oh, my bad.
Nacho cheese and
Oh,
cheese fries.
well, good job getting a Diet Pepsi.
I don't know what that is, but I got it. Chicken nuggets.
Nuggies.
And a taco.
Who the fuck gets chicken nuggets at Taco Bell?
Now, to help James out,
Oh, here's a James
so you
level.
take your hat off and you say, Lord, bless this food to my beautiful body. Thank you for the gifts of life. Thank you for Victor Wembanyama. May the Jazz get the #1 pick.
Nope.
And may Notre Dame get the royal ass kicked by BYU.
That's not happening either.
7. That's how you pray, James.
Telling James how to pray.
Hey, Timothy, I'm going to help you out. You're 53 years old now, and I think you need to get your memoirs written. And I have the name of your memoirs written, and I'm going to try to get some people to get it published.
I mean, listen, this is the life that Big Daddy Magic leads.
Image and likeness.
That's right. I mean,
Quote, my home away from home, Taco Bell.
Taco Bell. Taco
Okay.
Bell.
I mean, listen, that's one way to go about it, dude. That's definitely one way to go about it. In the comment section, what's your go-to item at Taco Bell? I know you're a Mexican pizza guy.
Bro, I don't eat Taco Bell. I don't eat Taco Bell. I can't imagine after the cherry incident.
Oh. Have you had a cherry since then?
No. I'm on a honey run that is pretty remarkable. I think I talked about this last week too. I'm eating honey as though I'm a queen bee. And
Queen Monty.
It's pretty good. Some dudes think I'm a queen anyway, but the point is
Length and girth.
it's a different conversation. The point is,
Right.
no, I have not had a single cherry since then.
Okay.
Maybe I need to. It's a great weight loss plan. I need to pass this real estate test.
Well, you're passing all the practice ones, right? You had posted that I think you'd post on your story the other day that you had passed, whichever one that was.
Yeah, I mean, I'm passing the practice tests.
Yeah.
But it's just a lot. Chicken quesadillo, okay? At Taco Bell, yeah. You can still eat cherries, just don't binge on them. Dude, who eats one cherry? God, I love cherries. They're so good. They're so good. I mean, Chipotle greater than Taco Bell? Oh, Chewy, for sure. For sure, bro. No doubt about it.
Bruh.
Taco Bell got rid of my stacker taco.
So wait, hold on. On the menu, did it say, quote, James's stacker taco?
What did they call that? Double stuffed, right? When you had like a hard taco inside of a soft taco.
I think it was just double decker. Let me look it up.
Double decker taco. That's what it was.
I think that was what it was.
It was on the value menu and it's gone. So I would say the gordita is my go-to.
Yeah, double decker taco.
One cherry versus pound of them. Moderation.
Yeah, nobody moderates anymore, dude.
Dude, the cherries in Washington are so good. Oh, so good. Would it be a legit argument that the Spurs have the superior talent over the Knicks, but the Knicks might just be a superior team overall? No, the Knicks are more talented, I think. What Jalen Brunson's doing right now, the handle on Jalen Brunson, the misdirections, the
hesitations,
buddy in the fourth quarter, he's the best player on the floor. And if you said to me, who do you want, Victor Wembanyama or Jalen Brunson? I'm taking Jalen Brunson.
I'm still terrified that VW is going to have a heinous injury at some point. Just watch it. Like, you watch him play in the game, dude, and it's just like, dude, it's the same feeling I had about KD at one point. Like you're watching the way his body bends and contorts, and like his ankle flex, and like,
But Jake, he's hanging out with monks during the summer.
I mean, I agree with the people who say, when he puts on, you give him 3 to 5 more seasons and give him time to put muscle on his frame, he'll be in a better spot. But I think the problem with that is, dude, is that as he gets heavier, the injury risk is going to go up. This is what we saw with LeBron in Miami, right? LeBron was running around at like 280 and was just yoked, but couldn't sustain that and had to drop down to like 240, 250, and then has been fine since. So I don't know what that number is, man. I don't know. Like, I don't know if it's like, hey, Victor's got to, if I'm Victor and I'm his trainer, like, man, we gotta beef up the legs, dude. That's where I'd be starting. Get those legs nice and strong.
We need to make sure that you have actual quads, and hamstrings.
It's just terrifying. Like even just highlights in the middle of the game before they go to commercial, dude. Watching him cut and watching the shoe flex, and like, it's just terrifying, dude. You're just waiting for it to happen. It's terrible.
It is terrible. Yes. 5 Lux boxes to help fuel my sadness equals BDM at Taco Bell. What do I get? If I was going to, it would be a Mexican pizza and a double-decker taco.
Yeah.
Or a crunch wrap. Crunch wraps are good.
Their quesadilla is pretty good, though. I mean, the
quesadilla.
the quesadilla is really good, dude. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't imagine myself saying yes to Taco Bell.
The cinnamon twists, you got to.
I can't imagine ever saying yes to eating at Taco Bell.
Yeah. Water butt is humbling.
I want the Knicks to win because it may change the team building because it's a copycat league. Could be right, Brandon. How did the Jazz not get the #1 pick?
It's incredible, isn't it? Now they're going to trade. They're going to trade up.
After all of that.
They will.
It's wild. It's okay for the Knicks to be in the finals, MSG and all, but they're not supposed to win.
Yeah, but Jimmy, you can't honestly tell me you want San Antonio to win. I mean, honestly, you can't. Between the two, you're really telling me you want San Antonio over New York. Come on. I mean, look, I know there's a lot of Knicks fans. I don't think anybody rolls up, gets out of bed and is like, man, I really just want the Spurs to win the championship. My God. Unless you live in that town, you're not.
But what was that entertaining basketball last night?
Yes, it was.
Yes,
the last.
Yes, it was.
I didn't watch a ton of the first half. I picked it up with about 10 minutes to go in the third, and I watched the entire second half, and it was compelling as hell. I was waiting to see when they were down 13. I was like, okay, when Buddy goes out of the game, when VW goes out of the game, how long are the Spurs going to wait to call a timeout while you're on a run? And I could not believe that they waited so long to call a timeout. Like, you're watching the Knicks just chew into this lead. It's down to 11. It's down to 8. It's down to 4. It's down to 1. And then you finally call a timeout, and it's like, dude, why did you wait so long? Like, I understand that Buddy needs some rest, but this guy's young, man. Put his ass in the game for 50 minutes. Like, he's young. This is the NBA Finals. There is nothing after Game 7 of this series. It's the offseason. It's over. Like, that's what I didn't quite understand. Why did you wait so long? Because then you brought him back in the game, and what happened? He was ass the rest of the night. Couldn't make anything, struggling to get to the line, turning the ball over, dribbling it off his foot. Like, so it was super compelling. And I actually was like, honestly, I was, and I don't have, having just moved, I don't even have my TV. And I went out of my way to watch it. I watched that thing on my phone for like an hour because it was so compelling. Like, that's what it should be in the NBA, and it so rarely is.
Yes. Hundo P, I agree. That's what it should be. And it's not always, but that's what it should be.
And then tonight, to your point, we get the NHL again. So it's just this great rotation of NBA, then NHL, then NBA, then NHL. And we get more golf today. Like, we're in a nice little window here.
Bro, I'm telling you, we shouldn't. The NHL is in a renaissance. The product is really good. The viewership is astronomical right now. Gary Bettman doesn't look like the dick that he usually is. They're doing a lot of the right things. And you know what I think really helped them? I think the Canada Cup tournament that we played 2 years ago.
4 nations.
Yeah, the 4 nations.
Yes, that's where it began.
And then the Olympics. Because the Olympic tournament was really good. And having Team USA. And I
the
think
Kachuk brothers, and
if McDeasy gets to Chicago Blackhawks,
you really think they got a chance at that, though? I mean,
do.
honestly.
Yes, I do. Because they have the best young talent in all of the NHL.
Yeah.
And it's going to take, they're not going to trade Bedsy to get him.
No.
But they have some lower level guys. They have a pipeline of talent in Chicago. That's a playoff team this coming year. Because we finally have a goaltender. We finally have a blue line.
Would you buy a 99 jersey if he comes to the Hawks? Because I probably would, honestly.
McDavid?
Yeah. Oh, he wears 98. I said 99. 98.
Bedard wears 98. But I don't know that I would do that. Would I?
I mean, I'd be fired up as hell if Connor McDavid was a Blackhawk, dude. I mean, honestly.
Yeah. What number does he wear? 79?
No.
No, 97.
97. 97. Yes. That's it. 97.
Him and Bedard were in 97 and 98 in Chicago. My lower limb is swollen.
Yeah.
That would be
incredible. Yeah.
It would. Even I can push Victor Toothpick Man out of the paint. No, you can't. He's pretty strong.
They mismanaged that game, dude. I'm telling you.
But am I wrong that he's just not a compelling figure?
I
enjoy watching him play.
Yeah.
I don't give a rat's ass what he has to say.
He's not compelling in the offseason, dude. In the offseason, I'm not looking for him. I will say the stuff he said, and we weren't able to get to it just because we had so much to talk about with college football, but his messaging after the Western Conference Finals, I was actually really pleased with. It was nice to hear him say stuff like, my life depends on winning the Larry O, and like, this is everything to me. And I have to say, like, as much as we complain about SGA, and I am not an SGA fan, not an OKC fan, never going to mistake me for it. I hate the way the guy plays the game and the flopping and all of that. It was refreshing to hear SGA talk about that. He failed this season because we've just been on this thing lately where, again, Giannis, Braun, Cade Cunningham, Paolo Banchero, all the boys in Cleveland are all saying, oh, no, there's no such thing as failing, and we learned. And it's like, no, dude, actually, it's like, give me an A or give me an F, right? Like, you either won the championship or you didn't. And these two guys have said that on both ends of the spectrum. Like, hey, it means everything to me. My life depends on it to win the Larry O. And then you've got SGA saying, no, we failed, dude. We absolutely failed. Like, the goal was to win a championship. We didn't get that done. This season's a failure. There's no question about it. And I just think that while I agree that we don't have the personalities we used to have with Michael and Kobe and younger Braun, and like we don't have that particular dynamic at play. I think that as Victor comes into his prime, because he's not even close to his prime yet. He's still too young. I think he's got a lot of years left to really still climb his development arc. But when he gets to the top of his game, he will be the face of the NBA. I'm not convinced he is right this second, but he will be. I hope that at that time he has more personality in the offseason and that there is more to follow in the offseason. But, again, I doubt that. Like, the things I think about in the offseason are Kevin Durant at Rucker Park, right? Or all those events and things like that used to take place that just don't take place anymore. That's what's frustrating, is that we don't get those, like, outside of the league. I think one of the things, if you go back and you think about it, was the holdout summer runs where Kobe was dominating Harden, and like We
Yes.
just had some certain events that took place that really pushed these guys forward in the offseason. So I'm not saying I want there to be a holdout or a lockout or whatever. I don't want that. But I just wish there was a little bit more that we saw with these guys in the offseason to help push things forward, because we just don't really get that.
I'm just telling you now, we need Victor Wembanyama at the Brickley runs.
Yeah.
Well, the Spurs need it. Local honey can help with allergies in the area you live. Dude, I love me some honey right now. I do. Rick Forrester. What a stud.
Hey, Rick.
I have been waiting for a Knick championship since 73. I was 9 years old.
Well, listen, I totally get that, man. I don't think last night is an indication of who's winning this series. I think that was a hell of a performance by the Knicks. I think that the Spurs did an awful job managing that game in the second half. You had a 13-point lead and you absolutely blew that thing. And so I do think that obviously the Knicks have the advantage, but this is going to be a long one. I'm not convinced it's a 6-gamer. I think there's a real chance it could be 7.
I think it could be 4. Boomer Sooner, cherries are like Lay's potato chips. You can't just eat one. That's exactly right.
And it's not potato chips, it's potato chips.
That's right. Cryptic. I was on a pickle run a few weeks ago. I've heard that about you.
Really? Okay.
Made a pickle slushy. It was actually pretty good. We have a local deli here that if you order a sandwich, you get a pickle wedge. And I actually look forward to it. Cherries, this is how weird my life is. I went from cherries to chicken thighs.
Bro.
I made some air fryer chicken thighs. Skinless, boneless. Gas. I had for lunch yesterday, I had a bag of frozen vegetables and 2 chicken thighs. And it was really good. I'm telling chicken thighs better than chicken breasts. Mm-hmm. And I'm a breast man myself.
Right.
But chicken thighs are pretty good. Pickle slushy? Nah, I'm not so sure about that.
I'm going to pass on that.
I can eat pickles as a standalone snack. Me too. Oh man, my wife will no longer buy them for me. But I used to buy a jar. I kid you not. I used to buy a jar of butter pickles.
I never sucked any ding dongs.
And just eat like 3 or 4 of them at a time. Oh, they're so good.
Length and girth.
So good. Victor is injury prone. Jake is spot on. He's too skinny. Eat more Taco Bell. Ryan Duffy. There should be a picture of BDM shirtless on every Taco Bell wrapper as a warning label similar to the Surgeon General warning on cigarettes. You're such a dick. You're not wrong.
So well done, dude.
You're not wrong, but oh my God, that is cold-blooded.
What can happen if you ingest too much Taco Bell? Quote, BDMism.
Take this drug for BDM.
Tough, dude.
Oh, what is that guy's cholesterol like? Even the Dalai Lama is rooting for the Knicks.
Yeah.
I think he is. Nick D. What's cool to me is seeing Brunson, Bridges, and Hart going from winning a natty at Villanova, Nova, and now playing for an NBA championship. I think Josh Hart is a critical part of that Knick machine. His rebounding is so important. It's because everybody's got a rebound with Victor out there.
Yes.
But he also gets a lot of help from the officials. Like
Victor does?
Yeah.
Yeah, he does.
Victor, toothpick man, is just an injury waiting to happen. Okay. The Spurs might be the most underappreciated team overall that has won as many championships as they have because nobody likes the Spurs.
No.
Ooh, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. Shut up.
We move the ball and we pass the ball and we don't want to shoot a lot of threes. Cool.
Based on my 2 options, hell yeah, Alien in the Spurs. I'm not that interested in Jalen or Cat. Okay.
Damn. You're the one then, dude. You're the one.
I think Jalen's playing inspired hoop, to be sure. Monty. There are a Chicago team. Chicago just does not win anymore. No more MJ or Ditka. We don't have an NFL team.
Timothy.
Yeah, we don't have an NFL team, so I don't know what you do. Not a hockey fan, but do love the style of jerseys. Also, Blackhawk jerseys are badass. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. James, Lugan's Land.
Okay, so
Good to
this is
see you.
another James burner. Okay.
Good morning, gents. My senior students are on a trip today. Whole morning wide open to listen to the Monty show and grading. Go Knicks.
Okay, so we have another teacher on the program. I like it.
I like it. Phil, he's a Colorado Buffalo fan.
I can get you a toe.
Could more teams be able to get in the added revenue generated by new TV contracts and advertisers? I'm sure Colorado needs it.
Colorado.
We know what Monty is into now. Great. Exactly. Your mom. You know, if the NBA does not fix their optics, NHL is going to take the second best pro league. I think it very well could be. Okay. Marcus wants to know.
Complaining about today.
Marcus wants to know, A, did Jake lose his razor again? And B, did he just turn a light on because it got a lot brighter? You were really dark to start the show. Did the sun come up or something, or what happened in your room?
Yes, the sun is partially shining through the window.
There you go.
Yes.
That's what helped you.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. 2 more power washing jobs for Marcus's kid today, by the way.
Telling you, it's endless, dude. It's endless.
He's going to work for a living. Chewy, James is in word timeout. He just stated the Knicks will win in 6 games. He also said Brunson is great.
What's wrong with that?
James tends to curse people.
Yeah, fair. That's fair.
And he's cursing Victor, so Victor will do well.
Mm-hmm.
You know, it is what it is, you know, but it's fine. All right. If you're just tuning into the show this morning, we have talked about a lot of things. Let's talk about Texas Tech real quick. Where do you like Joey McGuire, Jake?
I like him a lot less now. I was okay with him before because it was like, oh, you know, high school coach takes Texas Tech gig. You know, they were asked that first season, then they started getting some funding and expectations go up. And then it was like, oh, we won the Big 12 and we went to the CFP and got our bag slapped. And now all of a sudden we're tough guy on the block. And I don't like Joey now because I feel like Joey is unwilling to say the inconvenient truth out loud about his football team, which is his football team, through some of his own doing, not all of it, but some of his own doing, is now defined by Brendan Sorsby. And every time Joey McGuire talks about whether it's Texas or Brendan Sorsby or whatever it might be, it just hammers home the point for me that Joey McGuire doesn't want to actually live in truth, which is, we've seen what you do against the best teams. Nobody believes you or is confident or somehow goes with you on the idea that you would beat Texas.
It was the bye week.
Yeah, whatever, dude. It was the bye week. You guys couldn't figure it out. Okay, so Joey, are you an ass coach or was Oregon just better than you? Which is it going to be? Which narrative would you like to, take on the chin? So no, I'm not a big fan of what Joey's doing right now at all.
Sark, we played him. We got our butts kicked the last time we played him. We're 1-1 against Texas since I've been there. And I said, there's no way they're talking about us because Sark's a pretty tough guy. His teams are really tough. And I would think that if he was talking about us, that he would call us out. Like he wouldn't just say, just kind of this comment of, well, there's another team in our state. And so I guess he was talking about us. So I've actually talked to Keith Patterson and I've talked to G.J. Kinney, and they're willing to take our games, and Abilene Christian will go to Texas State. We'll buy our contract out of Abilene Christian. I'm sure because Texas has got a lot of money, they can buy their contract out. But I do know there's a lot of Red Raiders that will help them buy that contract out if they don't want to.
So he's going after Texas. And then he goes on with Josh Pate and talks about Brendan Sorsby.
Happens to you, maybe your peers are a little sympathetic.
Mm-hmm.
In this world, it's extremely cutthroat.
Right.
And anytime someone knows that the top dog, which is you in this conference right now, may be staggered a little bit, they just go for your throat.
Right.
That's just the nature of competition.
Yeah.
And so no one else is going to feel sorry for you.
No.
So you definitely can't afford to have an ounce of it inside your building.
Yeah.
But that's a cattle prod to the neck.
Yeah.
When you hear that about your quarterback, how'd your team take it?
I think they responded really well. There was a lot of questions of like, hey, how can we get a hold of him? There were also questions, of like I said, there's about to be a statement made by Brendan and by the university, and a couple of guys were whining. I was like, because we're not going to hide from this. I mean, it's going to come out, so we need to make sure that we're a part of that, and he wants to be a part of that. And that was a big, I think that's whenever I've talked to him, and I talked to him last night because literally he texted me right after the softball game saying, let's go, man. How awesome is this, coach? One thing with these guys, they understand, like, we can't pick and choose when we get behind each other. We either get behind each other or we don't get behind each other. And so this was a moment for these young guys to understand, man, life is hard and things will be thrown at you, and how you respond to it is really what it's all about.
Let me fix it for you, dude. You do, in fact, have a choice of when to, quote, get behind each other, because you wouldn't need to be getting behind each other if you hadn't gone and signed out the great gambler. Like, if you hadn't brought him into your program, we wouldn't be talking about people getting after you and, you having to defend bro's victimhood. And like, they just live in fantasy land right now. And I just can't, I can't get over it. And listen, I understand why Josh Pate is glazing Joey while he's interviewing him. Oh, you guys are the top dog in this conference and you're the best. They won the conference for one season, dude. Like, that's it. It's not like it's been 10 years in a row. So I don't know, man. I just feel like Texas Tech with Joey and Cody and all these guys are just, hey, we did one good season, but we're going to talk junk like we've won 3 national championships in the last, 7 years.
Well, I also think this week at San Antonio at their kickoff club, he was talking about how Texas is scared of Texas Tech. And why? Why? It's June. We're bored. I get it. We want to talk shit. I get it. You can't beat Texas right now. You're not talented enough. You're not deep enough. You can't beat Texas right now. Is there really a need for him to keep talking? Right?
Apparently.
I sent Jake a Sarkisian bite that he blew off because he's lazy. Told me his power went out or something, so he couldn't cut it.
Right.
But Sark talking about their schedule. Bro, let me ask you this. If you're Steve Sarkisian in the Texas Longhorns, Texas, why would you want to add another power team to your schedule? Now, did Sark start this by taking what most of us believe was a shot at Tech? He did. But he's already got Ohio State, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, LSU, Arkansas, and A&M on his schedule for this year. Yeah, he's scared of us.
Right.
No, if he were to add Texas Tech, he would be stupid. That is Ohio State, Tennessee, Oklahoma, Florida, Ole Miss, Mississippi State, Missouri, LSU, Arkansas, Texas A&M. That's 9, potentially 10 games that you are at risk of losing. And then you've got UTSA and Texas State. Why would you add Texas Tech to that? You wouldn't. Stop talking. Stop talking. Mike Smith, Sark is just a red ass and never should have said that to start with. Don't disagree. Texas went decades where they could not win the Big 12. I do agree. Cryptic says Tech needs to stop talking and start working. Yes, Texas Tech go to word timeout, right? Ryan Duffy. Move on from Sorsby. For the love of God, please stop talking, Joey. At San Antonio Coaches Clinic this week, he said Hammond could be available week 1 now.
Yeah.
I think they know they're going to lose that case. I think they know. I finally get watching in the morning. Now I work in the morning now. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. It's always good to see you, though. Northside Roger. One conference for one season. People need to chill on Texas Tech. Seriously.
That's what I'm saying, dude. Like, you guys think that you created fire or something, dude. Relax.
Tech is all hat, no cattle.
Yeah, exactly.
Not if you ask Cody Campbell.
Well, so you and I talk a lot about Texas, and but I don't know if you know the difference between bulls and steers. Do you know the difference?
So the bulls, they kind of go trotting around, looking, And
well, there's an important physical difference, and this is a family show, so I'm not going to lay it out to you. But I think a lot of your viewers know, and you maybe have some of your guys look it up.
Okay.
But Bebo, the Longhorns mascot, is a steer, and it's become very clear that there are quite a few steers down in Austin, and not very many bulls. And let me tell you something: when Sark opened his mouth and he picked a fight with a bunch of West Texas boys, he should have known that he better get ready to pack a lunch, because we're ready to strap it on.
Hell yeah.
We're ready to spot the ball, and we're ready to go. So September 3rd, September 5th, you name the place, we'll be there, and we'll go at it.
So now I'm really scared, dude.
Now we're going to say that Texas has no balls. Okay. Texas is not scared of Texas Tech. They're not. And the part that Texas Tech doesn't want to say out loud is Steve Sarkisian was right. Texas would go undefeated against this here Texas Tech schedule. Abilene, Oregon State, Houston, Sam Houston, at Colorado, Arizona State, Cincinnati, Arizona, West Virginia, Oklahoma State, Baylor, and TCU. There is not a competent football team on that schedule capable enough to beat Texas. There just isn't, right? Abilene, no. Oregon State, no. Houston, no. Sam Houston, no. Colorado, Arizona State, Cincinnati, and Arizona, no. West Virginia, no. Oak State, Baylor, and TCU, stop. Right? You're just, Texas is not scared at all.
It's just a ridiculous take, dude. That's the problem. And what I think is funny is, like, he didn't even say that they would beat you up and down and you suck. What he said is that you play a soft schedule. That's what he said. He said that his 2s and 3s would go undefeated on that schedule, dude. Like, and then Tech's got to turn it into a personal thing. And it's like, you guys are just, the little brother syndrome of this program right now is ridiculous. It really, it's incredible.
Sark hasn't shown anything since he's been at Texas with all that funding. So he's not recruiting. He's not winning more games than Texas has won. He's not winning playoff games. He's not. Oh, that's interesting. I mean, I probably just, I'm old. So and I'm not very smart. He won in 2024. They won. Did they not win the first round and they beat Arizona State in the what was that year? The Peach Bowl? I'm going to say that in his 5 years at Texas, going 93-55, or excuse me, 48-20 in 5 years at Texas, and 30-13 in the SEC. I'm going to say that's pretty good. Winning almost 2-1 on your career, I'm going to say that's pretty good. Do you understand? He went 5-7, 8-5, 12-2, 13-3, and 10-3. Nah, Monty, he ain't won shit. He has accomplished nothing. That guy sucks. Like, what are we doing? What are we doing? Like, what are we doing? The guy is a really good coach, right? Tech's schedule is ass. Oregon, North Carolina's Vodtech, Mississippi State have all canceled games, to be fair. And Tech is working on neutral site games with Notre Dame and USC. Correct. But just the reality of where they are right now is not great. Right? Didn't Texas Tech lose to Texas in softball recently?
Yes.
Yeah, but
yesterday.
Tech is really good. Tech is really good. I wouldn't. Yeah. Are you really following college softball this closely, Jake? Don't disappoint me.
I am.
Why?
Because it's entertaining as hell. It's
No, it's
fun to
not.
watch.
No, it's not. It sucks.
Well, that's your opinion, dude. That's like your opinion, man.
That's like your opinion, man. Yeah, that was, but wasn't that game one?
Yeah.
That was only game
three-game
one of the
series.
World Series. Yeah. I think they lost to Texas.
Yes.
So, and Texas can pitch.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's no question about that. And listen, Tech is not favored to win that series. Not even, would be an incredible long shot. So, but
yeah, I mean,
Texas Tech beating Alabama the way they did, and that's pretty good.
Yeah, I mean, I think what'll be interesting to see is like, you have Texas Tech who's down 0-1 in the series, but they just to get here they had to beat Alabama twice in a row because they were coming from the losers bracket. So, I just think it'll be interesting to see. Game 2, your season's on the line, man. What are you going to do about it? So we'll see. We'll see how it turns out. But it is, I think the softball World Series has been very entertaining. There's been a lot of good stuff. And, Jason Williams saying he's got to go home now because he wants his
read a book
to, be the spotlight. Like, come on, bro.
Read a book.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that was dumb. Yeah. Texas first baseman needs a DNA test. Okay. This drama reminds me of American soap opera, All My Children. Yes, All My Children. Whoa. James, we need to root for Texas Tech when they play Oregon State. Okay. College softball is better than... I don't know what that is.
Yeah, I think you need to rewrite that one, buddy.
College softball and baseball is fun to watch. Tournament play is exciting. Yes, it is. I'm a huge fan of it. Refs gave Texas that playoff game against Arizona State. Was Texas going undefeated in the Big 12? They have had the easiest schedule. Stop. I don't understand. How hard are you guys going to work to rip Texas? How hard are you going to work? I'll never understand it. And it's fine. You do you, right? You do you. And I just will simply say, going 13-3 in 2024, you don't do that accidentally.
Yeah.
You don't do that accidentally. You don't accidentally win the games that they won. Can we just... Is it possible to give somebody credit for anything at some point or no?
No, I don't think so, man. I don't think so. And I think that listen, us against the world mentality has never gotten anybody anywhere as far as college football is concerned. I think that Texas Tech is you're just operating in a way that's, in my opinion, rather childish and not viable. And I think that they made it so personal with Texas. And part of me wishes that we do get a matchup in the CFP. Put them on a field in the CFP game, see what it is. Show us that you can actually compete at that level. And push Texas the way ASU did. Show us what you can do. And
don't lose to Florida.
Yeah, right? Like it's just I just get tired of all the talk a bunch of junk and do that after not really doing anything. Like that's what I don't get. Like, talk your junk after you've won a national championship. Notice Signetti doesn't need to talk anymore because he won a national championship. He doesn't have to, he can ratio, he can ratio TCU over Josh Hoover because TCU was ass and he just won a national championship. That's what I think Texas Tech doesn't understand, man. And I just don't understand that mentality of trying to be the big kid on the block when you're just not that. So clearly you're not that.
But at some point, are we ever going to give Texas credit for being elite? Probably not. College softball is better than college baseball in most of the NBA playoffs this year.
Yeah.
It's been compelling for sure. LFG says, I like college softball too. Narjari Candy, so many Pac-12 execs boosting top college softball programs.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I want Texas versus Tech in week 1. The Longhorns will crush Tech.
Yeah, that's not going to happen, bro.
So you're a Texas fan now. Okay. Texas Tech James supporting women by eating lemon pepper wings at Magic City and watching softball. I mean,
yeah,
isn't that what life's about? That's what life's about. Scott says Manning time. Well, it better be, because if it ain't, they're going to lose a lot. Brandon Butler, you only diminish people or institutions you give power or institutions you give power over you. You don't see Notre Dame talking about other programs because no other program has the cash that Notre Dame does. The only other program that has the cachet that Notre Dame does would be Heaven.
Program.
So, is what it is. Tech will win 7 games this year. Oh, they better win more than that. Taco Tech sucks. Houston will beat them this year.
And again, if you were to win 7 games, these clips will be played on repeat. Just saying.
That would be a disaster for Texas Tech if they only won 7 games.
Yep.
I can't even, with this schedule, this schedule is so bad. And you would be, oh my God, I can't even. Abilene, Oregon State, Sam Houston, Colorado, Cincinnati, West Virginia, Oak State, Baylor, and TCU. That's 9 right there, you guys. Those are their win. They're winning at least.
Right now, we ask.
They're probably going to beat Houston because it's in Lubbock. I've seen Landman. I know what it's like in West Texas that time of year. Yeah, I think that would be unbelievable if they only won 7 games.
I think you mean embarrassing. Unacceptable.
I think there's a chance they go undefeated.
Yeah.
If Will Hammond lives up to it, they go undefeated.
Right.
In my opinion. But I could be wrong. Let's see. Rick, go to word timeout.
Hey, Rick.
Yeah, Dick. Truckers with money isn't wrong. Okay. BYU and Notre Dame will play 2 games this year, 1 more in the playoffs. You better hope so. BYU loses to Notre Dame, they won't go to the playoffs. College baseball is entertaining in the tournament, but it's terrible baseball because some of the best are in the minors. College softball is essentially the top level, much better since there's no pro. Truth.
There is pro, but it's just not as prolific as Major League Baseball.
You just don't know about it, right? The sorbet scandal might be the best that's happened to BYU this offseason. I mean, Brandon's in trouble.
So I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon.
How do you mess it up, dude? How do you mess up the name of your client? Like, it's
for Brandon.
Goodness.
I don't know.
So I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon.
And we were saying that.
Like, come on, dude. What kind of attorney are you, bro?
But he's a really good attorney.
Yeah, well, apparently he doesn't know the name of his client, dude.
It's unbelievable. Famler, what's up, dude? Texas has the most famous QB right now in college football with Arch, but in my opinion, Cal's Jaron Sagapuatelli is better future NFL. No, he's not. Stop. Texas test lost games. ASU, Oak State, Oregon State, Colorado, and possibly Arizona.
No,
Now you're just trolling.
Yeah.
Tech will lose 2 games, 1 to Houston and a stupid loss to one of the last 3 teams they play. Oh, it would be stupid too. It would be stupid. I just have that kind of gravity. I have had all sorts of stadiums cheer me.
Yeah, dude. I know his attorney was talking just about you. So I mean that's a pretty big flex by you.
It's ridiculous. Buddy fighting hard for Brandon Sorbet.
So I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon.
So I said, yeah.
For Brandon. It's so embarrassing.
It's wild.
Right? I can see BYU and Utah in the Super League. I think Utah is struggling financially. Private equity.
Mm-hmm.
Right? I mean, that's the only reason. Why else would you take private equity? You need a new basketball arena.
Mm-hmm.
Your football stadium is pretty damn solid. But, Rocket Ran, I was very happy to have this day in court for Brandon for the record on YouTube, but I just didn't want to have to come to actually be in court. Do you guys know how many strays Oklahoma State fan James catches on this show?
A day. Every single day, dude. It's on the record. I talked about it on YouTube last week.
So many strays for him. Northside Roger, you have no idea what you're talking about. They won't have a first round pick, but their D line is deeper this year. He's trolling you, dude. He is trolling you. He is trolling you. Don't fall for it. Rick Forrester.
Rick.
Or actually, it's Forster. Rick Forrester. Sumrall. Houston is loaded with a great QB. They will win the Big 12 this year. Yeah, BYU is going to have a Heisman candidate at quarterback. So,
yeah,
which Jake doesn't believe. BYU by 3 over Notre Dame in the playoffs, 35-30. Oh, yeah.
Come on, dude.
You better get the sacrament working now. Tithe, just start tithing more now, and maybe, no, that won't even help.
Pay that man his money.
That won't even help. You know it, and I know it. That will not help.
Yeah.
It's just, All right. Did you guys see Russell Wilson is retiring?
Mm-hmm.
Is he a Hall of Famer, Jake?
No. No, not even close. Not. There's not a chance on God's green earth that dude is a Hall of Famer. And I maintain that the interception at the goal line against the Patriots is where your Hall of Fame candidacy died, because you had a Super Bowl, one of the best Super Bowls you could have won over a Tom Brady-led football team, and you turned the football over. And I understand Malcolm Butler made a great play on that play. I get it. Awesome. NFL films and stuff. Cool. But the point remains that you did throw the ball. It was intercepted and you lost the game. And since then, you haven't been the same guy, and it's been downhill ever since. So I don't have Russell Wilson in the Hall of Fame. Absolutely not.
Frankly, I don't think anybody has Russell Wilson in the Hall of Fame. You don't go to the Hall of Fame for winning the Walter Payton Man of the Year. You don't go, and granted, multiple NFC championships. Does one Super Bowl championship put him in the Hall of Fame? Because obviously they won. He won one. 10-time Pro Bowler. But only 16th, what is he, short of 50,000 passing yards? Like, I don't see him I see him as the Hall of Very Good.
Agreed. Yeah. I think what's difficult for Russell Wilson is he was on a Hall of Fame trajectory at one point in his career. When he was at his peak, when he had the Legion of Boom and he was in his prime, had they won let's say 2 Super Bowls, and he had finished his career really strongly and then maybe retired, I think then he would have been in the Hall of Fame. The problem is I'm a big believer the Hall of Fame isn't just about the numbers. The numbers are definitely a key piece. Absolutely. You got to have, you got to have certain stats to justify your candidacy. But I think another big piece of the Hall of Fame is your reputation, your image, how people view your career, how people feel about your career. We've had, we always have that guy that maybe doesn't have quite Hall of Fame stats, but has 2 Super Bowls and was super influential and a big impact guy. And so I just think for Russell Wilson, his problem is, you don't have, as you just said, like 50,000 passing yards or whatever it might be. You don't
Jay, Bronco fans ride with him.
Yeah, but you went to the Broncos and you were asked, dude. There's no way around that. And I don't know there's just not enough here that says you're a Hall of Famer.
Let's ride.
Country, let's ride.
That's the problem, dude.
Do you guys remember that green screen video of him just doing it 50 times?
Broncos country. Let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Let's ride.
Let's ride.
Let's ride. Let's ride. Broncos country.
Broncos country.
Trying to do it 10 different ways.
Let's ride.
That's probably the highlight of his career I'll remember after the interception.
Broncos country.
Let's ride. Shut up, Russ.
Let's ride.
And now he's going to go work on the pregame show for CBS. I don't. Yeah, it's fine.
Do we get an NFL country? Let's ride.
Yeah,
Broncos country.
You have to have fun with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chris says, what? Russell Wilson, not a Hall of Famer. So Eli Manning is a Hall of Famer being trash after winning the Super Bowl. You would take Russ over Eli Manning.
You're high, dude. You are absolutely
high.
Have
you ever seen the NFL or no?
Do you even watch ball, bro?
I don't know what you mean. Eli will be a Hall of Famer. CBS going bankrupt between Romo's insane contract and what Sierra will demand Russell's contract be.
Let's ride.
Where's her little bite? I can't even remember what she used to say.
Go Hawks.
Go Hawks.
Yeah. The Instagram, the infamous Instagram story post of them in bed together.
Yeah, go
Seattle.
Go Hawks.
Come on, bro.
Oh yeah, go Hawks. Fly Eagle, fly.
Come on.
I got Steeler Nation for you.
I mean, come on, dude.
So weird. Brandon Butler, if Eli ain't in there, no effing way Wilson should be in there. Wilson is McMahon 2.0. Yeah, Russ is not a Hall of Famer. If Eli isn't a Hall of Fame player, then Russ sure as heck isn't. I would agree. Sam Darnold could repeat as a Super Bowl champion, and he won't get in either. You win 2, you're going to get in. You're going to get in. No doubt. Kurt Warner is the standard for Hall of Fame. Russell Wilson falls just short. Russell Wilson never won an MVP. Even though he was a 10-time Pro Bowler, he never was first-team All-Pro. Yeah, he's an average quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
He's the Hall of very good.
Yeah.
Cool. One more reason I don't want to watch CBS. Exactly. I don't watch the pregame show. Do you guys watch the pregame shows? NFL on Fox.
The only time I ever really watch them is if I just have it on in the morning if I'm doing something, You know how you just have something on your TV? That's when I'll watch it. But I don't ever just watch it intently.
I don't just have things on my TV because I'm not addicted to the digital lifestyle like you scumbag millennials are. So I don't really relate to that. How addicted to digital entertainment are you, Jake?
I mean, I don't think I'm addicted to digital entertainment. I think I watch a lot of sports because we do the show. So, I've said many, many times that I wouldn't watch nearly as much as I do if we didn't do the show. Yeah, I mean, don't throw this crap on millennials, dude. You sent me this BS garbage. Don't throw this crap on millennials. This is Gen Alpha and Gen Z. This is not a millennial thing, dude, at all. Yeah.
Mommy, please take me home.
Don't throw this crap on my generation, dude.
It vexes me.
You really don't think.
Vexed.
You really don't think. And again, I'm happy to say it. You scumbag millennials. You really don't think that you're the ones responsible for this.
No. Dating apps are different than going to the spank bank with an AI chatbot, dude.
Teen boys are choosing AI girlfriends over real life relationships with disastrous consequences. Yeah. Mainly mom and dad's laundry bill for the sheets and the never mind.
Yeah, why don't we put Pavia's mom back on the screen and we can talk about parenting skills? How about that? How about that?
Listen,
losers.
I still don't understand your obsession with hating on Pavia's mom's thighs, but you do you. New research suggests Gen Alpha boys would rather have a robo-girlfriend than risk rejection. And the formative challenges that are coming from it. The Male Allies UK surveyed 1,000 boys, 12 to 16, and found that a hefty 85% of them have spoken to a chatbot. 20% know a peer who is dating an AI chatbot, and over a quarter prefer the attention and connection a bot partner gives to the real human-to-human relationship. One 16-year-old subject said it was just too much effort to try and date. The AI validates, affirms, and never gets tired, never pushes back. For an adolescent boy still assembling a sense of self, that kind of frictionless attention can feel like intimacy. On one side, they're told that to be a man is to dominate. On the other hand, so you switched hands.
I'm a man.
See what I did? They switched them. You switched hands. Okay. They're told that men are the architects of most of what's gone wrong in our gender dynamics, and that the appropriate response is to sit down, be quiet, and make space. Ain't nobody saying that.
Yeah, next question.
The bottom line is, you scumbag millennials.
Dude, this is not on millennials, bro. I'm telling you.
Refuse to go out and find the right one instead of any taco to put.
Right, but at least we went out into the real world. We're not spank banking to an AI chatbot that doesn't exist. Like, there are levels to the game here, bro.
Spank banking.
I mean, you're the one who's infamous on the show for being like, oh, you got to get 21 times a month. Dude, Gen Alpha's at like 800 times a month right now, dude.
Bro, do you want your prostate to live long and prosper?
Crap.
If you want your prostate to be healthy, you need to lift off 21 times a month.
I get it. Strength and honor. I understand, dude.
Those are rookie numbers. Pump those numbers up.
No, dude, I'm not standing on the wall for an AI chatbot, dude. That's not happening, dude. I'm not.
His cock.
Absolutely not, dude.
Yes, you would.
No.
You're so easy.
No. This is a Gen Alpha problem, and they need to get their crap together, dude.
This isn't a real question. You're just trolling so that I'll put the picture of Pavia's mom up there.
It is what it is.
No. You want to go to church with this girl. You want to go to hell with this girl. Right? I mean, there's a big difference. Or Jake's like, no, I don't. Welcome to the nightmare. Gen Alpha, more like Gen Beta.
Agreed.
You guys are soft. You guys are so soft. Monty is getting delusional. He thinks teenagers are millennials. No, I don't. I think the millennial scumbags are the ones who start, like the explosion of porn, metaphorically speaking.
Porn's been around for decades, dude.
Right,
Come
but
on.
millennials absolutely tore down the internet.
So what was the
strengthening
80s then,
forearm.
dude? What was the 80s and all those magazines that you guys had boxes upon
VHS
boxes, dude?
VHS tapes are different than the interwebs.
Oh, okay. Mainly because the interwebs didn't exist when VHS tapes came out, dude.
Am I saying that if when I was 15 years old, if I had a cell phone and, you know, Jenny from the block absolutely getting jackhammered, that I probably would have spent some minutes of my life? Yeah, I probably may have. But I didn't. And it's easier to call millennials scumbags than it is to live up to my own issues in life.
Uh-huh. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know.
Yeah.
Oh my God, just like that. Oh.
So the scumbag Gen Xers. I don't even disagree.
He's just a hack.
Stranger hand.
Right.
Chatbots require 42 times a month.
Right.
This man was a bona fide scrub.
Damn, chatbots with the current youth. Geez, whatever happened to glory holes for the youth of America? Whatever happened to hitting on a chick in the lunchroom? Get a pizza puff, a little cup of mayonnaise, and go to Pound Town.
Yeah, bro.
That doesn't exist anymore. 21, can you do some for me? Not for me, for me.
Right.
Can you do something for me?
Right.
It's on the millennials. Due to their fault cause, they're behind creating the AI. That's exactly
whatever,
right.
dude. I know.
Scumbags.
It's all on us.
Scumbag millennials. After my dad passed, I cleaned out his place and found his collection. Guys will be guys.
Empty. The opposite of full.
I'm telling you. It is what it is.
I'd love it to be wider.
I think James, of course it's James, still has a VHS of Debbie Does Dallas.
Nah, dude, he threw that out after the Magic City incident happened, bro. He's graduated.
Do you guys think this is pervasive? Do you think this is real? That scumbag millennials created AI, which is now given way to AI girlfriends?
I think it's interesting that on one hand, we're talking about AI girlfriends, and on the other hand, we're seeing corporate America get away from AI taking over every job known to mankind and realizing that human beings are actually necessary to do, to do a lot of work and keep efficiency up. And that's what I find fascinating about AI. And I think, there's look, if your kids have access to their phone 24/7, I mean, I just think that you're asking for a little bit of trouble as far as what
a fucking asshole. My dog doesn't even listen to me anymore. And I agree. You're causing trouble.
Yeah.
If your son came to you and said that he was smashing an AI chatbot, what would you say?
I would say, no, you're not, because that chatbot's not real, bro. Absolutely not, dude. It is not real. It's fake. It's all in your mind. And that's the problem, bro.
Are you an AI chatbot? Are you smashing an AI poodle right now?
What the fuck are you, Ranger Rick?
Is that what you're doing? This dog is like, dude, can you put me down? I'm not a cookie. You can't eat me, fat ass. Put me down. I have a good dog. You guys should be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Every time when I take him for a walk, if I was single, that dog would have me AI chatbotting every single night.
Right. It'd be you and him on the couch with some baby oil. I get it.
Dude, Diddy party. No,
Yeah.
seriously. How pervasive do you think this is? Do you think this is
I mean,
real?
I think there's if out of 1,000 people, 850 of them said yes, then I think that's somewhat indicative of what people are doing nowadays. I mean, again, I just think that every day that goes by, you got to remember that every day that goes by, there's new stuff that the younger generation, that the 15 to 20-year-old is experiencing that a 30 plus isn't experiencing, because we're not into what they're into. We're not, It's just not. It's just how it works, man. And so I think that yeah, this is most likely a problem. Yes, and I'm not surprised by it.
I think teenage boys not being willing to have relations with real live women is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
It's a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it terrifies me for what the future will look like. It truly terrifies me because I don't believe. I think this is a massive problem globally. And I think we are creating a generation of soft ass men. And I know you guys know the saying about soft men create hard times. And I am telling you, we're going to make we're going to make gas prices look like no problem at all if we continue to let our boys think that they're actually having relationships.
Yeah.
And I will continue to say, if you have a 5-year-old child, do not give them a cell phone.
Right.
Get a fucking job and buy your own. That is, and you better be glad that you're not a 10-year-old right now, because I would raise you completely different. Because I think we have to make a generation. We have to create a generation of badass men.
This is fucking America.
We need men that are tough, resilient, who work all day and then come home and smash like a porn star. We need to raise a generation of men who treat people well, who treat women with respect, and they earn money.
I'm going to say this again.
And this AI chatbot thing is the antithesis of that.
Agreed. Completely.
This AI chatbot stuff, dude, I'm telling you, it is your boys not wanting to leave their rooms. And that's exactly the doom and gloom that this country cannot afford from future generations.
Yes.
Get your ass out of your bedroom. Marcus's kid. Save up your allowance so you can afford to buy a power washer.
Yes.
And start power washing roofs and driveways. That's what you should be doing.
Mm-hmm.
But instead, what are we doing? We're sitting at home playing Call of Duty and getting on AI chatbots.
Yeah, we're sitting at home hoping to make money streaming instead of going out and, like building a business.
I think it's horrendous for the future of this country.
Yep.
And I don't know how you fix it, because scumbag millennials are not having babies, and the ones who are, I don't even know what you say to this, dude. Right? I don't know what you say to this, because these are the kids of older millennials doing this. And it's really difficult to think. We need tough dudes, man. We need tough people, not just men. We need our kids, our women, our men to be ready.
It's a cultural thing
to go and build the world.
Yeah, it's a cultural thing. There's no question about it. It's a cultural divide that is going the wrong direction. And I think that it, what's challenging is I think that we're far enough past the pandemic to where now we're starting to see those longer term implications of, hey, you don't have to leave the house. You can't leave the house. You don't want to leave the house because of what's going on in the world right now. But then once the world kind of opened back up again and it was like, all right, cool, we can get back to doing what we were doing. Well, hold on. Now we don't want to do that. And we're seeing that type of behavior bleed into younger folks now. And so I think what's challenging is, my opinion is that this culturally, this starts from the top down. This is everything from, like, it's not just the parents. The parents obviously play a huge role. I completely agree. But I think it's everything from, the messaging from our world leaders down through what we're seeing in the world, down to, what the culture's like in our high schools and our middle schools. And like, it's all of that combined together. It used to be, I'm telling you, one of the side effects that is dangerous of, hey, well, the old school path of, school, college, get a job, that type of thing. Well, that path inherently had you working your ass off, but there was always a reward, right? There was always this thing that you could build that was tangible. Like, hey, I got the piece of paper now after going through school. Now let me go and turn that piece of paper into a living and a retirement and everything like that. But now that path isn't as viable and most people aren't doing it, now I think we're starting to see, well, man, all we see on our phone is these streamers and these people making a ton of money online. And I want to do that because that's convenient without actually realizing, yeah, dude, like it actually takes a lot of work, bro. It actually takes like an F load of work to build an online presence and do what you do. And I think it's why when we used to talk about on the show that we don't like to refer to ourselves as a podcast, and that word is dirty. It's dirty because everybody and their mom thought they could do it by just sitting in their basement with a couple of crappy ass mics and a camcorder. And then they realized, oh, wait, this actually takes work. And like, it's not easy to do. And that's the problem, man.
Ken the Saint on TikTok said, it's really funny you bring this up on the show today. My wife and I were sitting down just last night trying to figure out what we can do. Our son just graduated college, top of his class at Dartmouth. Yes, we are very proud.
You should be. That's an accomplishment, bro.
Collectively, we make $420,000 a year.
Okay, so you're doing well.
We can't afford to sell our house, but we would like to move from Phoenix because it's too hot. We've looked at Southern California. We can't afford it. We've looked at Maui and we think we can afford it. And I heard you say that you own property on Maui. I own a deeded timeshare.
Yeah.
But the real question is, what do you do with all of this? How do we live our lives? You guys are talking about your kids in these chatbots. How do we as parents of millennials? We're 54 and 55, and I'm not so sure that we can afford to live the life we want to live. It's not too late. Like, see, this is the thing that I struggle with this. You're 54 and 55. You make $400,000 a year collectively. Is it more difficult to do anything you want to do? Yes, it is. Can you do anything you want to do? Yes, you can.
Yep.
Right? And I would tell you that you have to be brave. You have to have courage. And talking about building the life that we need to build to live the way we want to live takes courage, dude. It absolutely takes courage. And I'm telling you, if you want to move to Maui, you can do that.
Yeah.
Right? If you want to leave Phoenix because it is so hot and you're tired of the heat, you can do that.
Yeah.
Like their son now lives in New Jersey. He took a job in aviation in New Jersey.
Great.
And so your son's living conditions, he's graduated. He's got a full-time job. You don't have to worry about that anymore. Yeah. That doesn't mean you're not a parent anymore. But what it means is you're not financially responsible for your child's rent.
Yeah.
Right? You have the ability to go do what you want. But you have to have some balls to go and do it. And it is not easy to do that. And I think that's one of the things that this AI chatbot story, which was his point. You know what your biggest issue with this AI chatbot is? It doesn't build courage. It doesn't build self-confidence. It does not help you build a relationship with yourself.
Yeah.
It doesn't. Right? It's brutal. It is absolutely brutal. Yeah, everybody is buying property in Belize. I have seen some YouTube videos on Belize. How many months is a virtual pregnancy before your virtual baby son is born from all of your soldiers? I don't know. Anyway, I think it takes courage. That's what I would tell you. It takes a lot of courage, but it is what it is. All right. The Monty Show is always presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com. No, I'm not going to talk about what I'm doing. Marcus is like, you're not even going to talk about what you're doing? No. I want to move in silence like the G in lasagna. The Lil Wayne reference.
Right.
The Monty Show presented by the Advocates at theadvocates.com, the best injury attorneys in the business. 24/7, 365, and it won't cost you a dime. Be safe on the roads. Don't drive distracted. If the worst happens, get the best at theadvocates.com. Until Monday, say goodbye, Jake.
Goodbye, Jake.